Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Darshan Hegde. Today I am going to discuss about shortest remaining time first. First, let us see what is shortest remaining time. Next slide. Shortest remaining time first is also called preemptive SJF, that is shortest job first. In this algorithm, the scheduler selects the process with the smallest estimated time to complete. An advantage of this method is that the short process are handled very quickly. The system requires very little overhead since it only makes a decision when a process completes or a new process is added. When a new process is admitted, the SRTF algorithm only needs to compare the currently executing process with the new process, ignoring all other process currently waiting to execute. Next slide. That means let us assume that CPU is executing the process. If a new process whose burst time is shorter than the remaining burst time of currently running process, then CPU stops the executions of currently running process. Why? Because the remaining burst time of the currently running process is larger than the new process burst time. That's why CPU starts executing the new process. Next slide. So let us come to the problem. Here, process and its arrival time and burst time are given. Here, P1 arrives at 0 milliseconds in a Gantt. So first, we should prepare a Gantt chart for this. P1 arrives at 0 milliseconds. There is no any other process occurring at 0 milliseconds. Hence, P1 starts from 0 milliseconds. P1 has a burst time of 5 milliseconds. CPU does not execute whole process because at the 1 milliseconds P2 is going to come in a ready queue, and P3 also comes in 2 milliseconds. Hence P1 will be executed till only for 1 milliseconds. Next, P2 comes in a ready queue at 1 milliseconds. Their competition starts between P1 and P2. CPU compares the burst time of these two processors whose whose burst time will be less. It will be executed first. So P1 will P2 will be executed. So P2 will be executed. Uh, Hence P3 also comes in a ready queue at 2 milliseconds. There is a again there is a competition between P1, P3, and P4 because P2 has completed its execution at 4 milliseconds. Hence P4 also comes in a ready queue. Again, the competition starts among P1, P3, and P4. CPU starts comparing this process. Here, here P4 has the least burst time. Hence, P4 will be completely executed till 4 millisecond to 5 millisecond. In again, again P1 and P3 will be in the competition. Here, P1 and P3 has the same burst time. That is 4. In this situation CPU executes CPU checks the arrival time of P1 and P3 whose whose arrival time is less. It will execute first. Hence P1 has arrived at 0 milliseconds. It is comparatively arrival time is less than P3. P1 will be executed at 9 milliseconds, and at last CPU left with P4. There is no any other computations with the P4. P4 will be sorry, P3 will be completely executed. Next slide. We have a formula for turnaround time and waiting time. That is, turnaround time formula is complete time minus arrival time. Waiting time formula is turnaround time minus burst time. We can see in the Gantt chart, at the bottom left of the process is waiting time, bottom right of the process is complete time. In a table we can see the we can see the process. P1 has completed at 9 milliseconds and its arrival time is 0, so 9 minus 0 is 9. P2 has completed at 4 milliseconds and it has arrived at 1 milliseconds. 4 minus 1 is 3. P3 has completed at 13 milliseconds and it has arrived at 2 milliseconds. 13 minus 2 is 11. P4 has completed at 5 milliseconds and it has arrived at 4 milliseconds. Hence, 5 minus 4 is 0. And here P1 is, so we have calculated turnaround time. We know the burst time already. Turnaround time of P1 is 9 and its burst time is 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. Turnaround time of P2 is 3. Its burst time is 3. So 3 minus 3 is 0. But turnaround time of P3 is 11 and its burst time is 4. 11 minus 4 is 7. Turnaround time of P4 is 1 and so burst time is 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Next slide. So we can find average turnaround time and average waiting time here by adding all the turnaround process and by dividing it by 4. So here turnaround time of P1 is 9. Turnaround time of P2 is 3. Turnaround time of P3 is 11. Turnaround time of P4 is 1. So divided by 4 gives the 6 as answer. Waiting time of P1 is 4. Waiting time of P2 is 0. Waiting time of P3 is 0. P3 is 7 and P4 is 0. Divided by 4 gives 2.75 as answer. Next slide. Advantages of shortest remaining time first. Very short process get very good service. The penalty ratios are small. This algorithm works extremely well in most cases. This algorithm probably gives the next highest throughput of all scheduling algorithms if the estimates are exactly correct. Next slide.